Okay, guys, if you know me, you know I've often talked about and continue to talk about Michael Phelps, and he really represents for me one of those elements that I've trained years and years and years, like 40 years worth, routines, 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 routines. In my vocabulary, I've added systems, protocols. Like I'm so into that, and this is where this podcast is really going to make a difference in your life. And I finally decided, Jean Philippe, that we need to articulate that our podcast is not an inspirational podcast, it's a transformational podcast. This is who we are. So don't expect to hop on here and be woohoo. Well, I hope so too, but that's not the objective. Okay, the objective of our podcast is to transform you, to transform ourselves. And who do I have to become to achieve my next level? But I really got an aha moment a couple of weeks ago where somebody said to me, Maria, your podcast is transformational. And I said, I'm going to be using it. This is what we are. So it's not a high hype podcast that you walk out of here and go, woo, and then you get nothing done. Okay. Because true wealth is about discipline. It's about mindset. It's about courage. And most of all, it's about leadership. Like, don't tell me what to do. Show me what to do. So today I'm going to talk to you about Michael Phelps. Marie-Pierre is going to talk to you about building the right routines, and Jean-Philippe. Jean-Philippe is how to make it look easy. Is that good? How to make it look easy. So before we dive in, let's go over to you, Marie-Pierre, because I want you to share this podcast with everybody you know that say they're going to do something, but don't do it. Dun, 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 dun. 99% of the... Okay, Marie-Pierre, take it over.
Yeah, so the question is, do you have the right routine? So yes, it's gonna start to share everywhere. So you want to copy paste the text that you have in the comment, and you can copy paste when you share on every social media platform, but you can also share by messenger or text message. So when you have someone in mind, you can send it directly to them. So you make sure that they will click on the link and listen to the podcast. And then we have our contest, Les Millionnaires de Diamants. So first, when you go on our Facebook group, Les Millionnaires de Diamants, inspirational group, every time that you post, every time that you comment,
Wait. These or these? These? Oh, yeah. Okay. Continue.
Okay, so let's continue. So,
Wait.
what?
In the comments. Because good morning, Martin. Good morning, Sherry. All guys here. Elle Fortin. Ellie. She knew?
Yes, I think so.
Oh, hello, girlfriend. Welcome. Okay, I need a vote. Black or white? Jean-Philippe says black.
Black.
Marie-Pierre?
I like them both. Yeah.
No. Jean-Philippe said black. I go with black. Let's see what they say. Okay, continue. Don't be defocused.
Yeah. Okay, so then when you go on our Facebook group, every time you post, every time you comment, every time that you put a reaction, you gain point during the month to be in the top 10 contributor of the group. And at the end of the month, the official top 10 will get a voucher to go shop on the boutique Les Millionnaires. Maya is really focused this morning, so we love it. Okay, everyone says your glass is black is good. Okay. Keep
Okay,
that.
Jean-Philippe, you win. Black.
Okay, and make sure that after that you are in the draw at the end of the month. So to be in the draw with the boutique Les Millionnaires de Diamants. So when you place your order, when you receive your order, always take picture and post it on social media so you can, and you tag Les Millionnaires de Diamants, so you'll be in the draw. And same thing with the book Les Millionnaires de Diamants. So every time you receive one of the book, you take your picture. You're reading one of the book again, you take a picture. You're using one of the quiz book, workbook, you take a picture. Your agenda Les Millionnaires de Diamants, you take a picture, and then you post on social media and you tag Les Millionnaires de Diamants to be in the draw. And if you don't already have your ticket for the next conference, the next one is coming up in 1 month, so it's gonna be on April 11th. So if you don't already have your ticket, it's time to click on the link to be with us. And why not, when you are on this link, go and register for the three conference because it's gonna make sure that you don't forget, did I register or not? It's gonna be easy for you in one time. At one time, you will have your three tickets for the next conference. So we have one in July and one in November too. So get your ticket now so you can be with us for the virtual conference. And if you want to be with us in the studio, we still have some places. So send me a message and I will add you to the list of people that will be with us in the studio. Voilà.
That's it.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just
You were
watching.
there and there
I
and
know, I know, I
there.
know. Wait, Linda's here. Her son took one of my cats. Yesterday, I had two that left. Can I tell you, I cried yesterday? Like, how ridiculous is that? I can't believe it. But I'm lucky. I don't even know her, right? It's through Connie, that Tupperware, family. But she's sending me videos. I'm going to share one of the videos this morning. I don't see James.
Yeah.
He's here.
Yeah.
I'm watching you guys, okay? Routine. Okay, so I'm ready to dive in. I was just checking if the fam was there. The fam is there. Let me dive in. Okay. All right. So, good morning. Officially, welcome to the Millionaire of the Diamonds. And today, if you're going to lean in and take notes, just remember when you're taking notes, don't write down a whole bunch of stuff. You'll never reread it again. You just want to write down some key words. So, the first key word would be the genius of routines. How about that? Okay. So today I want to start with something very powerful. It's a very powerful idea. Oh, something I've known all my life. But routine is an intelligent person sign of ambition. This was right out of the book. Okay. Routine is a sign of an intelligent person's ambition. So if you are able to establish routines, this means you're intelligent and you're ambitious. I said, oh my gosh, I love this. Okay. So if you are ambitious, you're going to need routines. You can't just dream big and expect that it's going to fall out of the sky. A lot of people want big lives, but they do not happen randomly. It happens by one of the beautiful words I learned this year, or to how to articulate it this year, by engineering it. We have the capacity to engineer the kind of life we desire. So living by design. So let me tell you the story about Michael Phelps. I've always talked about him simply because my kids swam for 11 years and they got to a point where they were good enough that when Michael Phelps came to Montreal at the Olympic Stadium, Yasmin was qualified for that. Nadia was qualified for that. Hamid was qualified for that. All three of my kids he came twice. So at both levels, they all were qualified for that race. You needed certain standards. And I remember joking with them. I said, I'm so proud of you. You're the worst of the best. Bravo. I know it sounds hard, but it isn't, This is one of the highest places you can be qualified for when you're doing a sport just to keep in shape, right? So it's extraordinary. But let me talk to you about Michael Phelps. Before before the Olympic swimmer Michael Phelps won his 8th gold medal at the 2008 Beijing Olympics, he followed the exact same routine before every single race. Not almost the same. Every time he arrived 2 hours early, he stretched, he warmed up with the same swimming drills. By the way, I can testify to that because my kids were part of Camo Natation, and it's a very high level swim club. That's exactly what they drilled into all swimmers because this was Olympic hope, they call it, l'espoir olympique, right? The same number of laps, the same order. Then he sat quietly with his headphones on. From that moment on, he and his coach never spoke. The coach knew from the moment he put on his headphones, that was it. Everything was already decided. 45 minutes before the race, he put on his racing suit. 30 minutes before the race, he entered the warm-up pool again. 10 minutes before the race, he walked into the ready room, always alone, his goggles on one side of the chair, his towel on the other side. Nobody was allowed to sit to his right side, to his left side. When his name was called, he walked to the starting block, always from the same side. He dried the block every single time. Then he stretched, left leg first, right leg afterwards, the same routine, race, every single competition. And when someone asked him why he did all of this, he simply answered. He said, "This is my routine." What is your routine? He continued, I've done it my whole life. I'm not changing it. But here's the most fascinating part. His coach didn't only train his body, he trained his mind. Every night before going to sleep and every morning when he woke up, Michael Phelps would visualize the perfect race. Did you get that speech ready, Jean Philippe, when you're going to be recognized number one organizational? Sales, revenues, like what's that speech? Like rehearse that speech. Michael Phelps would visualize the perfect race. You want to write something down? Visualize the perfect dot, 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 whatever that is for you, stroke by stroke, movement by movement. In his mind, he had already swum the race hundreds of times. So when the real race arrived, he wasn't improvising. Mm, Write it down. Don't improvise. He wasn't improvising. He was simply following the routine he had practiced for years. Winning was not an accident. Winning was the natural extension of the routine. Write this down. Winning is the natural extension of my routine. Say it out loud. Affirmation. You want a great affirmation? That's one of them. And this is something I believe in deeply. Routine create freedom. Routines remove stress. Routines removes decision fatigue. I'm trying to mix French and English here. Okay, so routine removes decision fatigue. And when you remove all that noise, the human being becomes extremely powerful. Let me give you a simple example from my own life as a mother and as a businesswoman. When my children went to school from first grade to 11th grade, first grade to 11th grade, that's a long time. Every single day, they wore exactly the same clothes. Here in St. Leonard, they had what they called the color code. It was gray pants and a white top. That's it. Or for the girls, a gray skirt if they wanted to, but they all wore pants with a white top. So every single day they wore the same clothes. There was no yelling, no indecision fatigue, no stress, no discussion. I don't want to wear this, blah, 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 blah. And this is how it happened. Even their lunch was the same darn thing from first grade to 11th grade, the same lunch. It was a slice of salad, it was a slice of cheese, provolone cheese, and it was two slices of chicken breast meat. That's it. The same vegetables, the same carrots. Like I had that Tupperware container. It fit in perfectly, weighed 2 pounds when I was finished with it. That's all they carried, and their bottle of water. That's it. So one day I wanted to surprise them with a new kind of sandwich. It was the worst day. They all came back saying, what were you thinking of, right? So routine creates clarity. Routine creates power. And here's the truth. When a human brain knows what it needs to do next, what happens is every stress, every anxiety, every fear just simply disappears. Now, what's happening is you are full into what you need to do with vision, with ambition, with energy, with passion. And this is the difference between the non-essentialist and the essentialist. The non-essentialist tries every day to do something different. They push harder, they grind harder, they try to be innovative, whereas the essentialist removes all distraction, all noise, simply by doing the same thing over and over again. So, what routine do you think will support you? For me in my life, one of the routines that supports me is deciding. This week, I decided that Saturday is going to be the meal prep. Sometimes it's Saturday, sometimes it's Sunday. I wrote that in. I decided already that this week I'm going to go see my uncle. It's part of my routine, making sure that every week I catch up with a family member. Last week it was my sister because she was in Florida, because that's part of my 6 roles and goals. And I could go on and on and on. So basically, my capacity to be where I am today, when people, and I did a reel on that, how do you stay successful or be successful, become successful without dropping the ball and other things that matters in our lives? Routines. Okay, routines. But to understand it better, let's go to Jean Philippe.
Thank you, Maria. It is so true. Like you were talking, and I have many examples that came through my mind, especially since like I'm working in a mall, in a boutique. Like at first, when we started, like our schedule were very like you work there, you're not working there. Next week you're working. And at some point I did remember I asked Julie, I told her, for me, it will be easier if I know that all Tuesday, all Friday, and all Sunday, I'm working. It's easier for my mind. And the reason why, it's because it's routine. It is all about routine. So most of the times we think that the most successful people, the great creating people, the inspiring leader are superhuman, okay? That they just go in their willpower to accomplish extraordinary thing. But as we've just saw, okay, it's a simple thing, it's routine. It's all about routine. So the most powerful tool for executing the essential is what we call a routine. But not like the boring routine, okay? The repetitive routine that numbs the mind. No, we talk about a deliberate routine. A deliberate routine that is a framework that you build with the essential, okay? And this will become your default status. So the idea is very simple, okay? If you do nothing, non-essential distraction will take you over. Okay, so what we want is to be sure that what we engrave into our mind, okay, is not the non-essential, okay, the bad habit, but it's really about being on the right autopilot just to be sure that the things that you need to do, let's say in our business, our fam, our live sales, all of those things, that they are engraved and they are easy to take. So it's not magic, it's about science. Okay, our brain is a habit machine. Okay, so the way that it works is what you repeat, okay, your neurons will create new connection. This is what we call synaptic highways. And the more you repeat, the stronger those connections become. So it's exactly when you learn a new word or a new recipe. At first, it's laborious. Okay, you have to look at this recipe every time, every step. But after a few times, it becomes natural. You just don't look at it anymore. It's exactly the same in your work. And I see it. I was trying to remember the first time that we did home party. Okay. After like, let's say my first 2 months, I was getting at home and I was exhausted. Why? Because it took me so much energy to focus on what I have to do. But after 5 years, okay, or doing some surveys, I did remember like I did 13 surveys in a week. Okay. And at some point, I was so good at it. I entered in the house of the client, and 20 minutes later, I got out. The survey was all done. She was booked. She was ready for her party. And I thought myself, oh my God. And I didn't feel that I rushed it. Why? It's all about routine and things that you repeat over and over. But most of the times, people look at routine like it will kill creativity. But it is the opposite. Okay, the right routine is a tremendous fuel, okay, for innovation and creativity. Why? Because it will offer you, okay, an energy rebate. As Maria was talking, like decision fatigue, it comes from that. Okay, so there's many examples that show that when you have the right routine, okay, what will happen? Okay, let's say about sleeping, about eating, or even clothes. Like I give myself a system, okay? So all my clothes all in like an order, okay? So the only thing that I choose in the morning are my pants. Am I working? Am I staying at home? Okay, so I'm deciding, and most of the times I'm wearing those pants 7 days before getting it into like the washing machine. But about my top, okay, my shirt, my t-shirt, they are all in an order. Okay, and I always take the first, and after they're washed, they're going at the end. The only reason that I will skip one if it's like it doesn't fit with the pants that I'm taking, okay, but they go into an order. Why? It's because it's simplifying my life. Look at Jeff Bezos, look at Matt Zuckerberg, look at Steve Jobs. They're all wearing the same things every day. It's because they want to liberate their brain. Okay, so when you understand that, okay, when you fix those things, this will help you being creative. And this is the reason why Les Diamants, we are so creative, because every Monday morning at 9 a.m., between 9:30 a.m. and 11, we have our power hour. Our us director doesn't have to think, and because it's fixed, we never like cancel it, except if it's like Christmas or like Easter, those things. But it's there, and we are focused, and we are there to have like great creativity to help the business progress. So routine will help you in any places of your life. So to help you reflect about, okay, your routine, if you're having the right one or if you need to build new system, Marie-Pierre has a quiz for you.
Yes, thank you, Jean-Philippe. So it's time to do the quiz. And it's going to be a little different this morning because there's some point that really is important to have the right routine. So we're going to have one at a time with the result for each question because research show that almost 40% of what we do is all automatic. So that means that 40% of what we do every day will build your future or will quietly sabotaging your future. So we want to make sure that we have the right routine that will shape our lives. So let's start with question number one. So when you wake up in the morning, what usually happens first? So A, I immediately check my phone, message, or social media. B, I follow a simple routine like coffee, shower, getting ready. Or C, I start my day intentionally with something that will fuel me. Planning, journaling, reading, exercise, something like that. So A, B, or C. If you answer A, you are on the autopilot routine. So your morning is being controlled by external trigger, small unconscious habit that can slowly steal your focus and your energy. If you answer B, you have that neutral routine. So you have structure, which is good, but the routine may not yet be designed to move your life forward. And if you answer C, now you have that intentional routine. So it's excellent. You are designing your routine to serve your goal instead of just reacting to the world. So nearly half of what we do every day happen without thinking. So we want to make sure that those automatic habits will bring us forward. Question number two. So when you feel stressed or overwhelmed during the day, what do you usually do? A, you scroll on your phone, check email or snack. B, you take a small break and come back later. Or C, you redirect that moment into something productive like planning, writing, or solving a problem. So if you answer A, you are in the reactive habit loop. So your crew, like the stress, is triggering an unproductive routine, and it's extremely common for almost everyone. If you answer B, now you are in the temporary reset. So you're aware enough to pause, which is really something positive, but the cue still isn't transforming into a growth behavior. And if you answer C, now you are reprogramming a loop. So you've learned the secret that you use the same cue, but you replace the routine with something that will help you move forward. So every habit will follow the same kind of loop. So you have your cue, you have your routine, and your reward. So what is that cue that will bring you to that routine that is something that will bring you forward again? Question number three. When you want to build a new habit like journaling, exercising, or planning, how do you approach it? A, I try to rely on motivation. B, I remind myself to do it when I think about it. Or C, I connect the habit to something I already do every day. So if you answer A, you are in the motivation trap because motivation will fade quickly without a cue. Habit will rarely stick. If you answer B, now it's the occasional habit. So you may do the habit sometime, but it won't become something automatic because you rely on your brain to remind yourself to do it. And if you answer C, now you are the habit stacking mastery. So this really what we want is this powerful because when you attach that new routine to an existing one, that's the moment where the brain will adapt it faster. So, for example, when you charge your phone, okay, at the same time, I have my journal. So it's one of the most powerful idea that we have in for routine is that is you don't always change the behavior, but because you want to change the cue that will bring to the behavior. Question number 4. So when you start your workday, what usually happens? A, I handle all the small easy tasks first. B, I respond to email and message. Or C, I tackle the most important or difficult task immediately. So if you answer A, you are in the comfort routine. So easy task, feel productive, but rarely move your life forward. If you answer B, you are in the reactive workday. So your day is being controlled by other people's priorities. And if you answer C, now you are in the high performance routine. So you are operating like the top performer. So the hardest task early will create the momentum and confidence for the rest of the day. Because if you look at the highly productive people, they will often follow that one rule: do the most difficult thing first. So that is part of your routine. Question number 5. When you look at your week, what is that structure? So, A, every day feels chaotic and unpredictable. B, I have some planning but many interruptions. Or C, I dedicate certain days or time block to specific type of work. So if you answer A, you are in the chaos mode. So without the structure, your energy is just scattered everywhere. If you answer B, you are partial structure. So you are moving in the right direction, but you could benefit from clearer routine. And if you answer C, you are the strategic routine. So your structure routine allow your brain to focus deeply instead of constantly switching tasks. So if you look at the great leader, often they will design their week with team days that will simplify their decisions. So, for example, okay, on Monday, it's all the tasks that is related to leadership. Then on Tuesday, it's about creation of content. Then on Wednesday, it's all about growing the organization. So, to have those team days to simplify your decision. And last question: when you want to improve your life, what do you usually try to do? A, to change everything at once. B, to start something but stop after a few days. Or C, you focus on improving one small habit until it sticks. So if you answer A, you are in the overwhelm cycle. So too much change at once will make success almost impossible. If you answer B, you are in the motivation cycle. So you start strong, but you lack the system. And if you answer C, now you are in the routine builder. So small, consistent routine are how the real transformation will happen. So in the book, they said it: don't try to change everything at once. Change one routine at a time if you want it to stick. So your life is not shaped by those big decisions, but it will be shaped by those small routines that you repeat every day. So the question is not, do you have routine? Because of course you have routine. But the real question is, are your routine are really building your future, or it's just quietly stealing it? So it's to choose that one routine that you want to improve this week, that because that right routine will make a big difference in your life. So on that, we wish you a beautiful day, and we'll see you tomorrow morning. Bye everyone.